Yo guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to yet another video. It is a very sunny day, and in today's video we have the all-new 2021 Super Adventure R and yours truly, the Super Duke GT. Now, yet again, a lot of people have a lot of doubts, but what are actually the differences? Stay tuned. And even though that the engines are somewhat the same, these two bikes are totally different. So if you're not really sure which one you want, the Adventure R, the Adventure S, or the GT, maybe this video can help you out. I have been taking out the Super Adventure R out for a couple of weeks now, and I'm pretty sure I can tell which one is the best for you. Yet again, not going to waste your time, so let's jump straight into it, vlog style. So first things first, talking about the engine. Well, on the Super Adventure R we have 160 horsepower, and on my beloved GT, the same LC8 engine produces 170 horsepower. Now the Newton meters of torque, Newton meters, well, this one has about 142 or 43, and that one has like 138. So looking torque, it's about the same. And I can already tell that a couple of you guys are probably thinking like, why did he bring the R next to a GT? Like, I mean, why didn't he take the S? Because the Super Adventure S is more the road model and the R is the off-road model. Well, I got that one first from KTM, so yeah. And the Adventure R and the Adventure S, just a little side note, besides that bigger wheel in front, this is a 21-inch. As for the S is a 19-inch, longer suspension travel. As for seating height, the S is 850 and the R is 880. Just a little bit higher. And if you look inside the alien's nose, there is no adaptive cruise control, and the S model does have adaptive cruise control. And this one is a little bit, yeah, first of all, it's a lot dirtier, but it's also a little bit higher off the ground. So therefore the Super Adventure S will set you back 20,000 starting prices, and the R will set you back 21,000. Well, you get a bigger wheel and a bigger suspension travel. So, I mean, bigger is better. Maybe not always, but bigger is also a little bit more expensive. Yeah. Both, I can tell you already, both of these motorcycles really always ride on one tire, because they think it's really cool. Really cool? Oh man, I gotta rethink my life choices. God dang it. Yeah, so anyway, this one is dry weight of 221 kilograms. As for the GT is 209. And the only time you feel that difference is when you pick them up from the ground. I had to pick that one up from the ground because I crashed it. I'll show you a little clip.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Oh! Foul move.
Yeah, pretty sketchy crash. Good thing I had these case carriers. Back to the video. So what I really like about these kinda heavy motorcycles, because well, they have 1290 cc's engines, is that they are both very light to handle. So this one does look like a really giant monster, but the second you are riding 1 or 2 kilometers an hour, it feels like a little moped. It is light, very light to handle. Light. As for the Super Adventure, you get a 7-inch display, and for the GT, you get 6.5-inch. Now, it's not really the size that matters, it's what you can do with it, right? They kind of work the same. It's not a world of difference. Only the buttons on the handlebar are a little bit different on the GT. As for the GT, you get a very sturdy feedback giving indicator light, and you get these Pretty hard to press buttons, but you get a lot of feedback from them, so I really like those. And as for the adventure, you get the 6-way cube. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I still don't know why they call it the 6-way cube. Maybe if I add that button, I got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not really sure, but the only thing that is like really terrible, I'm not really a fan of these. Maybe some people are, but I mean, this thing is like moving freaking everywhere. Look at that. It's doing a lot of things, and nothing seems to work, so I get no feedback whatsoever. That's the only thing I like the GT more. That's like indicators, you know. Little fun fact, greeted hips. Yeah, I mean, heated grips, of course. Brr. Heated grips do come standard with the GT. As far as the Adventure, it is an option. Don't want to have cold hands, you know. And both of these motorcycles do come with keyless go. And the only thing that the GT has is when you get into a bar fight, you really want to be like, what's up, bro? Just flip it up. Yeah, probably not a good idea to bring a keychain to a knife fight or gun fight, but what's up, bro? Yeah, that's what I really like about this. I always never use this thing because the only reason you need to have that one is if you want to get your back seat off, which doesn't happen a lot. Now, as for the Adventure R, they made this really satisfying button. Listen to that. And your seat pops open. I didn't turn on the ignition. And as for suspension travel, it's pretty obvious to say, this is like, yeah, I mean, it's like a fist. It's like a fist. Yeah, you get a fist of suspension. Gonna make this pretty easy for you guys. As for the Adventure R, you get about 2 fists. So almost double the suspension travel. That actually makes no sense, but you get what I mean. You get what I mean. For the S model, because this of course is the R, like I said, this one is 220 millimeters of travel suspension, and the S is 200. Gas tank 23 liters. For the GT, gas tank 23 liters. It's the same. And as with the Adventure, KTM chopped up the radiator, put a piece on that side, a piece on that side. You get a little bit more cooling straight into the engine, and the hot air, now this is very cool, the hot air is coming out that way and shooting sideways, like pow. As for the GT, you still have that big radiator in the middle. Hope you guys can see that. And this way, wind goes in, wind goes through there, and wind comes out over here and shoots straight into your leg. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I get like a really hot leg, not gonna lie. You need some cooling, right? Boom. As far as electronics go, inside the ZFT, they're both like Bluetooth. They both have connectivity to set your phones, the KTM MyRide app. So connectivity wise, if you were wondering about that, it's exactly the same. And of course, for the GT, I have used the KTM MyRide app on the Super Adventure, and the arrows are like, yeah, not really that big. As for the GT screen, look at that, it's even smaller. It's not a touchscreen, by the way. For the GT, the screen is even smaller, so those arrows you get from the KTM MyRide app, it's not, yeah, I prefer like a big giant GPS up here with a lot bigger screen, yeah. As for the Adventure, the rear frame starts over here, and this is all frame, so you still have to buy some extra carriers to use for anti-crash protection or to get some baggages going. And as for my beloved GT, the frame goes underneath, and you get these built-in case carriers right here, so no need to buy extra of those. As for the wheels, we have 18-inch in the rear, 21-inch in the front, 17 in the front, and another 17. So both 17, 21, and 18. And I've been reading the comments, and I've been reading your questions, and a lot of questions are most of the time the same. How do they both ride? How do they feel? And size comparison, like how easy can you get on that one and that one. I'll show you. And especially for you guys, I will get on the motorcycle. I am 1 meter and 76 centimeters. 1 meter and 76 centimeters. Now I'm gonna put it on the screen right here, how much that is in inches, because, well, I have no idea. It's like 6'5", 6'6", maybe 6'8". I don't know, but I'll get on. Flat toes, not flat feet. A good toe, a good toe. Or you can use the double bike stand. And just jump on. I mean, yeah. And jumping on the GT. Flat feet. It's a little bit lower. Very easy to get off. And it doesn't come with a double standard. Yep. And for size, you really know how big the Adventure R actually is when you put them side by side. Yeah, that's another windscreen. I made a Puch, not sure how you say it. I put a Puch windscreen on it to get some more wind protection, because the original screen was like over here. If you take it, it's even lower than the RS stock, so I need a little bit more wind protection. Not much, but I know it's not the best looking windscreen. I might throw it out again. I'm not really. Anyway. And I'm pretty sure if you click this video, it's probably not because you want to buy a Super Duke R, but you have doubts between these two. So let me get on and I'll show you how much wind can pound you in the face. I can tell you already, on GT, it's kind of windy, not extremely. It's just a little bit of wind. On the R, on the highway, just cruising, stock with that little windshield on top, it is very comfy. Almost no wind, nothing pounding my legs, nothing pounding my chest. My helmet was fine, my head was fine. So for the highway as stock, that one, that's more comfy. Damn, it's a heavy job moving these things around. God dang it. What do you think? As for the GT, well, I gotta show you guys the side angle, because my GT, it is pushing my wrists. So I don't know if you guys ever had sleeping hands or a lot of pressure on your wrists, and you're like, you want to get out that feeling, got some bar risers for the handlebar to make it go up and it's still not working. That's a little problem I have with the GT. So riding after, let's say, 300 kilometers, 350 about, my hands start hurting and my wrists, because there's a lot of pressure on the GT. Maybe because I have short arms, I'm not really sure. But as for the handlebars on the Super Adventure R, I am in a way more straight up position. So I do not get sleepy hands, I do not get pain in my wrists. So the Super Adventure is really winning over my GT. I'll show you from the side. I put it on the central stand again. See what I mean? Like, let's try the GT. That's the difference. And that's a really big difference for me. Yeah, I think I'm gonna sell that one. I don't know. And I know for a fact that you guys have been looking at these exhausts and thinking like, when the hell is he gonna start them up? I'm gonna start them up and let's do a little bit of a rev battle. Rev battle. Awesome. Adventure R. Before I start the GT up, well, I have the Akrapovic silencer slip-on and I removed the decibel killer. If you want to know how I removed the decibel killer, if you have an exhaust like me on my GT and you want to know how to remove it, I'll put a link in the description to that video. I like whacked it out of there. Anyway, let's start it up. Can you hear the difference? I can't really hear a difference. No, it's not growing. It's not growing. So, what do you guys think? You going for the Adventure or going for the GT? I do own a GT. I do own a Super Duke R. I have owned two Rs before, and I gotta say, that thing is like a Super Duke R with more fenders and a little bit more wind protection. It's more like a sports tour, so it is more rougher, sounds better, it feels a lot faster. It's not that much faster as that one, but it is kind of faster, and yeah, you get more of a racy, sporty feeling when you're driving that in comparison to that one. Driving the Adventure R is just smooth, it is comfy. I mean, the shifting is with the Quick Shifter Plus for 400 euros extra as an option, of course, but with the Quick Shifter Plus, GT also has a Quick Shifter Plus, but still, shifting of that one is smoother, throttle response is smoother. Of course, I know it's got the ride-by-wire, so you can switch modes, but that's not really the point. This engine responds like way smoother, way more relaxed, way calmer. I really feel that's the bike I want to go on like a 600-700 kilometer ride, or maybe 3,000-4,000 in a week. I would most definitely pick the Adventure model. If I want to go for like a 400 or 500 kilometer ride, just a single day, kind of sporty, kind of fun, really aggressive riding, I'm going for that one. To end this video, it is really hard to say which one I would pick for on a daily basis, but it's going to be the R. So I might be selling the Super Duke GT and getting an R. I'm 36, I like it to be a little bit more comfy, and my biggest problem with the GT, this one doesn't stop when the road stops. That one does. And as an enduro rider, I've been doing off-road for, yeah, motocross and a lot of years. I really like the fact that you can just be like, a gravel road starts here, or a dirt road, or look, there's some mud, jump in it, and it will just plow you through it. It will really plow you through it. It is a dangerous thing. Like I said, I crashed it. It is really fast. When it comes to cornering, well, I'm riding TKC 80 tires on the Super Adventure, so those are like really big, dirty off-road tires. And still, I can throw and flick it better into a corner as GT. I can, maybe it's just in my mind, but I can take better corners. It feels a lot more fun to take corners with the Adventure as with the GT. I'm still mind blown by that, but you know, it is what it is. I'm not gonna lie. God dang it. For the looks of it, well, for the looks, I would pick a Super Duke R, but yeah, anyway, if you want to have a touring bike, for the looks, this thing looks so nasty, so mean. I would prefer the GT above the Adventure, but if you would ask me, like I said, what I would take for a long journey is that one. So I'm pretty sure that a lot of you guys still really want to buy the GT. If you want to buy the GT and you like it a little bit more on the rough side, no problem with that, but make sure you do not test drive one of those, because if that one starts to feel a little bit on the heavy side, a little bit pounding your wrists, a little bit hard, don't drive that one. Do not ride that one, or you're gonna end up being sorry about that one. Now, don't get me wrong, this is a very fun bike, very fast bike, but that one, more comfort, smooth, fast. They're both really popping machines. So as far as that, both are very fun. 9 out of 10 on my fun factor, maybe 9.5. That one's a 10. That one's a 9.5. And therefore, that is my end of this comparison between the Super Duke GT and the Super Adventure R. I really hope you liked this video. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, ride safe.